Well, this kind of thing, my first should be road trip. We'll go through so many.
We are going straight. Well, first, anyway, you
Okay.
US not spell or shade. So I mean, I live from bed because when it comes to because in London, we say bear below titi.
I want to work. We only develop ground and not to travel to America.
Why not?
So,
What does Yoruba mean to you? Like, what do you think about Yorubaness?
No one's ever asked me that ever. I've never had to think about that. I remember growing up here when being African at all was not cool. Most Africans, like, we pretended we weren't, you know, we pretend to be from somewhere else because you get bullied for being African. Like, I think definitely growing up in a home of what is expected of you as a Yoruba woman or Yoruba girl in this house, especially in a Christian household, versus who you are outside in the world. And then what you know, at home, my mum knows me as Shun, the world knows me as Ruth, my auntie knows me as Busola, you know what I mean? Like, there's the home version of you, and there's the outside version of you. The home version of me is, you know, the child of a Nigerian immigrant woman who lived in contention with the black British girl who went to school, who hung out with her friends, who has friends from loads of different cultures.
Yeah.
And I think the older I've gotten, the more versed I've been in carving out those different identities. So, you know, there's the British-Nigerian Ruth, there's the black British Ruth, and then there's the Ruth that keeps all of them in conversation because they're not necessarily separate. They just come at the fore in different spaces. So
I went to a bridal shower on Sunday. I went to a bridal shower on
This
Sunday.
Sunday?
On Sunday, last Sunday. And on one side, all the aunties were laughing and joking and having like a whale of the time. And on this side, we were all sitting down politely, like going around in a circle playing a game. And it's like the type of fun. Like when I walked over to my auntie, hello auntie, and I'm there like shouting, being loud. And then when I walked back into the group, I'm very quiet, sitting with my legs crossed. And it's like literally code switching. Yeah, no, literally, I'm like, oh, auntie, what do you want? Let me get it for you. Da, 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 da. And then in this, because I know I'm the youngest in the group. So does anyone, auntie, do you want anything? I'm going to the kitchen. Let me take that for you. Not letting my mum like carry stuff, like. Then going into that group when I'm still the youngest, or one of the youngest, and I'm just chilling like, get what you want. Do you want that? Like, I don't feel any pressure to like help people or do anything. It's like, oh, okay, go get it then. Do you know what I mean? Literally, I don't think about it, but I physically, my mindset changes.
So how often do you code switch between being Yoruba and being British?
Every day.
I'll talk a little bit about
what you're doing.
What I'm doing. Yeah. So the cases is about double consciousness among Yoruba diaspora.
Oh, this is interesting.
Do you know anything about the double? I think you do know about double consciousness because I read anything in your Spotify where you said that you do a mix of Nigerian and British kind of experience together in your music, right?
Yes.
So when somebody goes like, "What's your name?" I go like, Adedeji. Now, Adedeji has a different personality. Adedeji is Yoruba. He pays attention to like the Yoruba mythologies. He understands the culture, and Adedeji comes out when it's like with people that understand where it's coming from. Yeah. And then when I'm outside of that sphere, somebody goes like, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm like, Moses. Then Moses is an international person. Moses doesn't would probably try to forget that he's Yoruba, and he wants to like, "Oh yeah, tell me about your story. Tell me about this thing that is from a different culture." He's basically this person that is worried about every other thing apart from culture. So he wants to like get to meet people, wants to talk about global warming, wants to talk about like, you know, the things that, let me just
Moses
say,
wants to talk about.
Yeah. And those two people from my two names are two different personalities, two different psyches, they have two different aspirations, right? How do I unite the two of them? Even because at some point there's going to be a tension between what the Yoruba person wants and what the international person wants. And
you know, there's Nigerian culture, but Nigerian British culture is actually quite different to Nigerian culture. And you know that's different when, as a British person or as a Nigerian British person, you feel the difference when you go back home to Nigeria. You're Nigerian, but you're non-Nigerian.
Not quite, yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So Nigerian Black British culture is actually, I love being Nigerian, I love Nigerian culture, but at the same time, you know, there are aspects of the culture that I grew up with that I love.
That you love as well, yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the lens through which I see the world, and that's the way that I navigate my life. And for me, I personally don't think I could live in Nigeria. Couldn't even live in New York, to be honest with you. I'm too British. And I actually love England. I love living in London, and I love being a Nigerian living in London. You know, I wouldn't want to be anything else. Yeah.
What does Yoruba mean to you right now? Is it?
It's more of an identity. It's more of an identity because at the end of the day, you need to identify as something. So it depends on if you want to identify from your roots or you want to form a whole new identity for yourself and whatnot. But then I'm a Yoruba man, yes, 100%.
100%. And being Yoruba means you listen to Yoruba music, watch Yoruba movies,
A lot.
eat Yoruba food.
A lot. Sorry.
There was a friend that I went for one of her workshops, and she was like, she saw me introduce myself as Adedeji to her, and then I introduced myself as Moses to somebody else, and she was also there. She was like, "What's going on? Like, what are you?" And I had to explain my thesis to her, like 2 different names, 2 different personalities, but it's still the same person.
The older I've gotten, it's just become a dance of just like I'll never identify as English. Like I was born and raised in England, but I'm Black British. It's interesting because there was all this work and community and canon around what it means to be Nigerian, and it's like in half a century, will that concept even exist physically? So what does that mean for us who have bonded over being Nigerian? Do we still remain Nigerian, or do we remain just our ethnic groups? You know, I think if Nigeria disbands, I'll always be Yoruba, I'll always be Asian. Will I be a former Nigerian? Like it's something I think about often. You know, I'm like, will there be a time in my lifetime where being a Nigerian was a former identifier? And what will that mean for so many of us who are from different ethnic groups but bond on this unifier of national identity if that nation doesn't exist?
But also though, how would these 2 separate identities, how can they merge into one? Because there will be conflicts and contradictions.
And tensions as well. Yeah.
Tensions,
contradictions.
Yes.
It's kind of like a schizophrenic kind of lifestyle.
Like a split personality. Yeah.
Yes.
I can kind of understand this concept of multiple identities, and the way I can say or inform one how to kind of fuse or merge multiple identities is just to take it on your stride, you know, just to take it on your stride, not to think too much about it, not to stress yourself too much, you know. Just see yourself as a unique person, you know.
So, your answer to the split, to the duality is
duality.
Just live and be unique, basically.
Live and be unique. Don't think too much about it. Don't stress yourself, because you're stressing yourself over nothing. You know. Just find your own common ground, and within that, locate your core values. You know. So, what do you stand for? What do you represent? What are you an ambassador for? You know, what do represent.
So I try to think objectively about the individual elements required of a masterpiece. I became Ichi.